Makes you think about the people in your life. And I think of Neil. And if he was sitting there right now, what'd he say to me? He'd say, John, what's it about? What's life about? If you don't go through it as a man's man. You say, suck it up. Take the fall, do the time. That's made you who you are. That makes you what you are. How long we been around this thing of ours? This Cosa Nostra. 120 years. I mean, what's it about? It's about the rules, parameters. When you take the beating for the friend, you don't run, you don't lay down, you don't betray who you are, what you are.
Self-esteem.
Self-esteem is basic. You pick it up in the street. That goes with the street. You got to remember Angie here. I love this guy. I loved him. And he was stupid. He never listened to me. He always wanted the goddamn dope money. He never rolled. Do you know that? He never rolled. My brother Gene, Joey, the Mig, they don't roll. They're doing 1,000 years now. They don't roll. They don't rat, White. That's the rule. You don't break, you don't rat. Basic rules. Gives you a little power, right? Not the kind of power these feds have. God forbid, right? God forbid we pull their chain in public, right? Fucking dress better than them, they take it personal, like it's a fucking vendetta, right? They're supposed to act better than the rest of us. Just want me to be something I wasn't even born to be.
Humble.
Humble.
They want you to be humble.
Yeah, so you humble me. What you got now? You got a war. You got a global war. You got the Chinks, you got the Dominicans, the Asians, the Russians, the Colombians, the Jamaicans. What they doing? They desecrate the nation. You got your veritable fucking snowstorms of cocaine and smack, whatever the hell else they shove in their veins. You got a worldwide crime syndicate now. There's no rules. There's no parameters. There's no feelings. There's no feelings for this country.
Anarchy.
You got anarchy. So? 5, 10 years from now, they're gonna wish it was American Cosa Nostra. 5, 10 years from now. They're gonna miss JohnGotti.
Hi, Armand. We're rolling. How are you? I'm so happy that you did this, that you're doing this with me. Thank you so much.
It means a lot to me. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm great. How are you doing? You look amazing.
I've been very, very busy. I was doing a documentary all day today, so I've been very busy with my work, and thank God I keep busy.
Oh, that's right, right? Good for you.
It's a complicated time for the industry. I think about 70% of the industry right now is underwater, so any of us that can stay, still maintain some equilibrium amidst the storms that are going on, it's sad. But, to come through COVID and then to come through the strike, and, there's a real economic disparity going on. Is unfair, and there's a lot of people out of work.
Oh, wow. But you're not, right?
Thank God I work a lot, and I keep my nose to the grindstone. You can't really, maybe it's me or maybe the industry, but I don't see where you can depend. Years ago, you could depend on a representative or an agent, but I think it's early we've become very much an independent entity, the profession of being in the entertainment sector. You really have to keep your nose to the grindstone. You really have to seek out and develop. You have to constantly develop projects, or it won't happen.
Oh, okay. But you're not really like that Hollywood type. Like you weren't like the rest of them.
Well,
like with millions of women and stuff like that.
Through the fault of my own, I have been very much involved in the independent film world, which I never recommend. I mean, it's a right that it has. You pay some high prices for being in it. I mean, it's not financially lucrative in terms of films being really budgeted. It's a very, but I find some of the more fascinating stories that I've worked on all came out of independent film. And by the way, I worked for many, many years all over the world. I've worked in Eastern Europe, Russia, everywhere. Kazakhstan.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was abroad a lot in the last
Oh,
25.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I never knew that.
Yeah, I've not been around.
Wow. I wanted to ask you, you won an Emmy for playing my dad.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, everybody I know loves that movie and loved you. Everyone. Now, now you didn't have any help from my family, right? You didn't have any help. How did you prepare for that?
You know, that script came to me from Bob Cooper at HBO, as well as Gary Lucchese, who was the former head of Paramount, as well as Robert Harmon, who was, in my estimation, one of the great underrated directors. I was in love with him as a director. I'd seen a film called The Hisher. And they flew down to Florida where I was working, and they said, HBO wants to offer you this project. And when I read it, it was a script by Stephen Shagan. Stephen Shagan is really one of the most unsung of American writers. Probably the most famous film that he wrote, other than Gotti, was The Formula with Marlon Brando and George C. Scott.
Oh, wow.
A brilliant writer. And he came close to being blacklisted during the McCarthy era for absolutely no reason at all, except for people that he knew. But the Shagan wrote a very, very compelling script that was told from different perspectives. And a lot of people love that film. I tell you, I told Bob Cooper at HBO when I first saw it, I said, if you put that in one theater in each city in America, it'll run for 5 years. He thought I was jesting. And oddly enough, that film went global in months. People don't know that film is loved in the recesses of the earth. I mean, people know about that film. I have letters to this day from men and fans who watched it 50 times. It's amazing how much it resonated with the public. But I'll tell you something. There was a very interesting subliminal theme in that film that I think supports the whole narrative that other films, even in the mob genre film, which is like, I mean, it's rampant now. Everybody wants to be in that genre. But the point is that there's subliminal themes in that film that were never touched upon before. And I think that really resonates with the American public.
Okay. And so how did you prepare for that? You just by watching clips of him?
I saw very few clips, but I read the transcripts.
Okay.
I read books of transcripts because, as you know, he's probably the most recorded person in history. That's a fact.
Oh, right.
So I read literally books of everything I could get my hands on. And then the few recordings that are available, I listened to them over and over and over again to get a sense of rhythm. I mean, I know that part of New York that he grew up in, and I know that region very well. But I think it was, you know, he had a way of speaking that there was always kind of a double entendre, everything he said. So he was very charismatic and very, like I said, there's almost a double meaning to everything he said.
He was very intelligent. He had a very high IQ. He could have been anything. He could have been anything.
I actually pulled a few lines from the transcript because I thought, who talks like this? Because he said things that were like so spot on, not only about America, but about, you know, the entire system. It's very interesting because the theme of demonization is very powerful in that film.
Right.
And it's ironic that now, that was made in 96, but so in his lifetime, he's probably a decade, at least a decade before me. But in his lifetime, in my lifetime, the American people have seen how demonization completely backfires on people. We've seen it now today, but we've seen it decade after decade after decade, and I think the American people see through it now. I think it's a. But anyway, that theme is very prevalent in that film.
Wow. And now you're going to be going to have talks about Gotti too, right?
I mean, it's rumored. I'm more than open to it, and the only thing I've maintained is that I want a script that's worthy of the story, and I think the story is incredibly important and incredibly powerful. I mean, you know as I do that when they took away his water in Marion, they took away his drinkable potable water. The Marion water is contaminated.
Yeah.
It was a disaster from then on.
Right. They took away his commissary. They took everything away from him.
Yeah. So I'm saying just from a human rights standpoint, it's an important, very important theme that should be looked at. And I think it could be a very, very important film. Because he was who he was. And he was, he was as notorious as he was charismatic, as he was heralded, as he was condemned. I mean, he's one of the most fascinating, controversial figures in America. And I mean, I travel the world. I work all over the world. He's known everywhere.
Everywhere, I know.
So I mean, he rose to mythic status. It is what it is. But
I mean, did you?
It was an incredible. I never expected to be asked to do that. I don't know what they had seen me in that thought I could do that. I put on 50 pounds. Your father was 210. I went up to 205. I busted my gut.
Wow.
But I tell you, I never expected to be asked to play that, and it happened so fast, and I really had to muscle up to get into it. But I'll tell you, it's the actors who really are disciplined enough to have a career, and you really have to have the stick-to-itiveness to be an actor. To be an actor, you have to be focused every day on your next work. There's no question about it. If you lay off, you're dead in the water. You can't survive this industry. But the point is that particular role was such an outstanding production and such an outstanding script that it was. When I say this, I mean this. It was an opportunity of a lifetime. Those opportunities come across actors' desks once in a lifetime. And
you won an Emmy for that.
It changes the topography of what you do.
But you won an Emmy for that, right?
Yeah. I won the Emmy. I was nominated for a Golden Globe. I was nominated for a Screen Actors Guild, and I was.
Wow,
I got
that's
an award
right.
in Italy. I got an award in Italy.
You did? Oh wow! Oh wow! That's amazing.
I was very blessed. Very blessed.
Wow. Some of your I love every movie that you've been in, and one of my favorites. You want to see this? I'm going to show you. This is one of my favorite movies that you've been in.
You write the music, and me worry about the business, and we're all gonna get rich and happy and famous here in America.
In 1952, the Castillo brothers came to America.
I love this country.
With a suitcase full of songs and a head full of dreams.
Just off the boat, and you think you're gonna land a gig at a downtown club.
There is more to life than just playing mango.
But I'll never.
But as the music played,
You're the cat's fiance.
I know that, thanks.
and and the rhythms pounded.
Have a Havana with me, Cesar. And let's see how Fernando Perez can take the Mambo Kings to the top.
Okay.
The Mambo Kings.
I love that movie.
That's so sweet of you. Thank you so much.
I love that movie. My mom loves it too. My mom, forget it. We're such big fans of yours. You have no idea. I remember when you were in Rage of Angels.
That was another. You know, I tell you, I think it goes for any actor that puts himself out there. Which, and by the way, I never recommend it because I've led a roller coaster of a career. But the point is that you know, there's very few experiences an actor has in his lifetime where you get to work with companies that just, they come together. It's a combination of chemistry and commitment and discipline and real love. It takes all of that combination to make a production work, because productions work from synchronicity. And if you don't establish that synchronicity with people, they don't work. And Gotti was one, Mambo Kings was one. I had about, I would say, 5 or 6 major productions that really, it was really based on the love of the company and the love in the company that's just committed in a very, very disciplined sense to making it a great story. And that's what goes into it. It's amazing, you know, in the world we're in now, which is so different even from the 80s and the 90s, because the filmmaking industry has changed so radically now. But to get those scripts and to get into a company where the whole engine of a film really works is very, very rare in anyone's career. It may appear to be happening in somebody's career consecutively. It doesn't. It's usually happening once in a decade or once in 20 years. It's very rarely happening consecutively.
What was it like working with Anthony Quinn?
It's so funny. It's so funny you tell me that. You know, this is a true story. So Anthony Quinn is the only actor in my lifetime who wrote me a fan letter. And I was 33 years old. I have it somewhere in the house. He wrote me like a one-line fan letter. He said, "Just keep doing what you're doing. I'm watching."
Oh, wow.
I was about 33, 34 years old. I was so blown away because he was truly one of my idols growing up as an actor. He was probably one of the most underrated of American actors ever. Probably the most underrated of the real heroic actors. I'll tell you a couple of wild stories, but I want to finish what I'm saying is that when the Gotti script came to me, he's the only one I thought of. And I thought, I'm going to take the gamble. He wrote me a letter when I was 33.
Oh, wow, really?
I'm 46 now. Then I was 46 years old. And I said, I'm going to take a shot. And I got in touch with him via, I don't even know if it was email, I think, through the agent. And I said, could he please read this? And he said, no, I don't want to be involved in that. And then 2 weeks later, he read the script. And he called me up and he said, I'm in. I like this project. And when that happened, I think the whole mechanism of the production changed, because other actors that I wanted, as well as Robert Harmon and Gary Lucchese, we loved Vincent Pastore, we loved Tony Sirico, we loved Dominic Chianese. They were just perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect for the film. But there was a lot of resistance because they were completely unknown. All I kept saying was that they're just right. They're so emotionally, chemically right for this film that why would you go anywhere? Anyway, when Quinn came on board, everything fell into place. It was like magic. And it was also magic working with him. He was an astonishing professional. I remember him and Mark Lawrence. Mark Lawrence was 94. Quinn was 83. We were in 17 degree below zero weather in Toronto. And the two of them were sitting outside waiting to roll.
Is that where you filmed it, in Toronto?
Toronto, 17 below
I
zero.
never knew that. Oh my God, I never knew that. 17 below zero?
He shot that film in 17 below zero. Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome. But I remember the stamina of those men. Quinn being 83 and Mark Lawrence being 94. Well, they didn't battle.
Wow.
That's the
94.
level of professionalism
Yes.
and commitment. You know, it's the commitment of a young actor. And, you know, and I remember Quinn telling about something that really, because I asked him, I said, what was the most difficult part of your career? Because every actor, believe me, no actor wants to admit this, but I mean, if you commit to the life of being an actor, you are walking a tightrope every day of your life. And I asked Quinn one day, I said, what was the most difficult part of your life? And he said, as an actor, between the ages of 50 and 70, I never got an offer.
Oh, wow.
I never got an offer. So think about this. He was 50 years old. He was the one that went to the Greek director, I believe his name was George Kakianos, I believe, who directed Zorba the Greek. He's the one that bought the rights to Kazantzakis' novels, Zorba the Greek. He's the one that put the production together. He's the one that went to that director and mounted Zorba the Greek because he could not get a role that satisfied him as an artist. So at the age of 50, he had to make that happen for himself. And he won the Academy Award.
I loved him in Revenge, the movie Revenge.
Right. But
I loved Revenge.
That kind of commitment that a lot of people don't understand. That being an actor is it's a very independent road to travel. There's not a lot of cooperation. So you have to be very systemically strong in your mind and your belief in stories. You have to believe in stories. If you don't find some thematic belief in stories, it won't work. But I find that, I have a motto: if it's not in the page, it's not in the stage. And it's the truth. If it's not in print, you're going to have a hard time. I've worked on a lot of projects. I'm asked to do a lot of projects where they want you to work on the script with them. I've done that a lot. But more often than not, if the theme of the story is not there to work with, you have very little to go on. I go back.
Now, getting back to Gotti, I had heard, now I'm going to ask you if this is true or not. I had heard that you had said to someone that, look, they're going to make this movie with or without me, but at least I, can get rid of the garbage. Is that true or no?
Well, what had happened when I received the script, I went to the legal department. I believe it was legal department, or I went through, maybe it was CAA, and I said, it was a statement I made. It has to be made known that at that time, the more I studied the script, I looked up, and I purposely did this because I thought, this is potentially it's a hot potato in the industry. This could damage people's lawyers' work. And I noticed there were 4 or 5 people in the script that are mentioned as their real life name was. And I recommended to several people, none of whom acted upon it at all.
Oh.
And I said, we cannot take this risk with this project. And I was able to get in touch with Bruce Cutler, and I said, look, and it's the truth. The project was going ahead with it. They had offered it me, but it was going ahead with or without me. And I said to him, look, I've been offered this project. With or without me, it's going to be made. But I think that somebody from the legal department has to pay attention, because if these people that are mentioned in this script are on parole, this is in violation. It potentially could be in violation of their cases, and I don't want any part of it.
Oh, I see.
I'm not putting my head on that chopping block. So I said to, I guess it was the agent, whoever it was I was working with. I said, you know, it's not guys that are coming after you. It's the lawyers that are coming after you.
I see. Oh God, that's funny. How did you like Bruce Cutler? Did he give you any advice?
He was very forthright. He is an entity unto himself.
Yes, he is.
But he was very forthright. You know, I tell you one thing he did say to me. He said, you know, I'm very appreciative of the fact that you made us aware of this. And I was shocked. He was very appreciative of the fact that I said, look, these people are out there. And evidently John Gotti's case was over at that point. But there were other cases hanging out there, and I thought, this is very, very dangerous. So that was the time I met with Bruce.
Oh, you met with him. You met with him. How did you like him?
I mean, he's a very forthright, very strong-minded guy, and I think that he's another, you know, he's anybody who meets him. I mean, he's a character.
Yes.
People are products of the origins and conditions they grow up in, and the belief systems they grow up in. So as my remembrance of him, that's going back, 25, 27, 30, more. I don't know how many years, 1996. Yeah. But my remembrance of him is that he was very forthright, very strong-minded, and he was a real tough lawyer.
Oh yeah, he's very good, very good. Do you remember? I'm wondering if you remember this. My son went to your house. With his father. They had lunch and dinner by your house. You let him drive your Hummer. And then when they were leaving, you came out with 2 big shopping bags full of all Yankees. You bought him a Yankee jacket, a Yankee bat, hat, glove.
Was this John's grandson?
Yes, that's my son.
Oh my God.
Yes,
you know that just flashed in my head. I can't believe that. I remember that now.
My son will never forget that. He still has that stuff till today.
I have not, that completely went out of my head. I have, thank God, I've led such a blessed life that from day to day, I can't remember anybody anymore. But that's amazing. I remember that. And we walked around the property. We had a great time that day.
Yes, you cooked them. You cooked for them. You cooked them lunch, and then you cooked them dinner. Some kind of pasta, I think he told me. And then you let him drive your Hummer on your property.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
And he was a little kid.
People have to drive it. It never works.
Yeah, and he was a little kid. and then you brought him. When he came home, he was like, "Mom, look what Armand is, look what he bought me." There was so many Yankee things in there. The jacket, the jersey, the glove, a bat. You bought him everything.
I was born and raised right across from Yankee Stadium.
Oh, you're from the Bronx.
I was at Washington Heights. by the bridge.
Oh, wow.
So from
Wow.
my apartment, from the building that I was born into, I literally could look at the polo grounds. It was so funny, right across the East River. But,
Oh, wow. That's great.
yeah, so I grew up. I grew up in the shadow of the Yankees.
Oh, that's something. And you knew he was a Yankee fan. My son's a diehard Yankee fan.
That's so funny. It's so
Yeah, my father too, diehard. And then my daughter had met you too because Lewis took her. I forgot where she said Lewis took her. Or Lewis was very good friends with your cousin Mark.
Yeah, Mark, and my other cousin Raymond grew up in Howard Beach.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So that's where I think Mark and Lewis knew each other from Ozone Park.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And
So that was,
the only time I met Victoria. I met Victoria at a Children's Diabetes Foundation
Yes.
in Rockland County. Very beautiful event, and I met her briefly at that. That's probably the last time I saw her.
Oh, wow.
The years just ripped. by. It's crazy.
Yeah. Now you've recently you also met with you also had lunch, I believe, with my brother Peter and my brother John. You've been with my brother John recently.
John, I met with because we discussed both the feasibility of doing The Shadow of My Father as a series,
Right.
or the sequel. And John had a very good idea about how to enter the sequel of the sequel to the Gotti film. It's a
Right.
very smart idea. So we discussed that at length. I mean, the problem is that it's not, to mount it properly, it requires a real budget, especially in today's world. But I'm saying
Yes.
you can do it independently on a very minimal budget, but it beats the hell out of people. It really does. And if you're not properly set up to make the film that it deserves to be,
Right.
I mean, I don't think any of us want to go near it. It's a complicated, films are very
Right.
complicated mechanisms to make work. But in the world we're living in now, because of AI and also because of, I'll tell you what happened in 2008 when the economy collapsed. The technology ironically skyrocketed. So all of a sudden people could make films for a lot less and with a lot less people. That has now exponentially grown in film culture. So the thing is that everybody's making films with their iPhone or, 4K camera. That's not movie making. It's an attempt at movie making. I can appreciate
Right. Right.
it, but it's not movie making. And the thing is that kind of sunk into the nomenclature of film building today, and it's not true. It's just not true. So I think we can both appreciate, certainly if we made the sequel or a series, Shadow of My Father would make an amazing series.
Yeah.
My point is that if it's not funded properly, I'm very confident that we would have an outstanding audience for that. I have no
So
doubt.
do I. So am I. Yes.
think
I
that
am
it would just
convinced.
be, it would really open up a lot of doors certainly in telling that entire story, a lot of which the public knows nothing about, and very, very heavy, really remarkable stuff. Certainly, I mean, it's the stuff of great drama, that's for sure.
Right. Well, yeah, without a doubt. That movie, that Gotti movie, do you know because of that movie, half the world, I said because of that movie, the Gotti movie, half the world thinks my mom is Jewish.
Your mom is where?
My mom is Jewish.
What?
For some reason, that movie decided to say that my mother was Jewish. So now everybody thinks my mom is Jewish.
Oh my God! What did you say?
In the movie, in the Gotti movie, they said, I think it's what it was supposed to be my Uncle Angelo says, well, Vicky's a Jew or something like that. And so everybody thinks my mom is Jewish.
That's funny. I don't even remember that. It went right by me.
Yeah,
I'll
I think
be
it's in the
honest with you,
very beginning.
I don't like study films that I've done. probably.
Oh, you don't like to watch them?
You know, I can watch it once. I want to know that the work is there. You know, I was a musician as a kid. To me, a film has to be like music. And I mean that in the sense that if the process is not there, usually the music is not happening in a film. But on that film, I remember we had a very disciplined process. And by that, I mean everyone showed up and really worked hard. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of films I don't watch because I don't feel the process was present. But like, I've not watched that film in 20 years. So the fact that they're showing it, the Garden State Film Festival is showing it tomorrow night at one of the oldest theaters in America. It's just phenomenal. And I'm very happy to see it again. I've never seen it ever. I only saw it once.
I put the thumbnail up. So tell everybody. So that's tomorrow night, right?
Tomorrow night in Cranford, New Jersey.
In Cranford, New Jersey. Okay. And what is it? People can just go there, or do they get tickets?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's several. I mean, I would think there's several rows of seats left. I think they have a pretty good turnout. But I tell you, the Garden State Film Festival selected it as a fundraiser for they do such tireless work. The two women, Diane Raver and Lauren Gonzalez, they're out front and center all year long for education, for using film as education, for teaching literacy through film. I mean, they have many, many programs they developed through their own film festivals. And it's very important work. They actually, I mean, they finance their own community with the festival. So it's a very, very worthy cause. And I really appreciate, just from I'm not saying from a cultural standpoint, just from a work ethic standpoint, the work they put in to the community, I really salute them. And I think it's great. It was their idea. It came out of the blue. They said, I think we could get a lot of people to see that. So with the help of God, that'll come to pass.
Very good. So, I mean, this Gotti movie just keeps going and going and going.
It's got a lot of love in it. So with the help of God, it'll stay that way.
What did you think of John Travolta's portrayal?
You know, I've yet to see it.
Oh,
not in deference to John. I've always thought the world of him as an actor. I haven't seen it yet. And, you know, I my God, I was so involved in that story and the making of it that I don't know. I mean, there's many, many stories like that have been made. Right. There's different versions of them, you know. But I don't even know if I made a definitive version, but I know that the work that went into it, and remember what I said at the very beginning of this conversation. When I had guys like Robert Harmon and Gary Lucchese and Steve Shagan and the actors that we had, the team that we had, that comes across your path as a performer once or twice in your lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen very often.
Right,
so I don't know whether, and I don't mean to sound holier than thou, but I mean, I treasure the sanctity of that unity, of to be able to tell a story, a powerful story, with a very unique company. It's not unlike, I'm sure, musicians feel when they work under a composer or an orchestra leader, where they make a definitive statement on whomever it is, whether it's Beethoven or Rachmaninoff. They know they hit the mark. And I feel that when we made that, whether people like it or not, I could care less. I know we hit a mark. I know we did something special.
Everybody loves that movie. You know, they didn't like the other one. They liked
that's like the only reason I don't even watch that genre, to be honest with you. I don't watch the genre that much.
I don't either.
I know that we did something special, so maybe I've resisted watching other films because of that. If that makes any sense.
Yes, I don't like any of those kind of movies either. I don't like them at all. But listen, what about this right here? Do you want to talk about your new movie?
Oh, God bless it. You know, we made it for nothing in the heart.
Let me show the clip. Let me show everybody the clip first. Oh, well, okay? Yeah.
The secret society. It's always been.
You're born in shadows. You reign in shadows. You die in shadow. That's why it is what it is.
Have you been taking your medication?
I don't need medication.
You know what happens when you don't take them.
Incite them. Instigate them. Agitate them. What's your problem?
I'm your problem. What's he do?
I have no idea. Seems nice though.
Be careful, okay?
This guy is crazy. All he does is stay up all night, reads mob books, watches mob movies.
Oh, I'm retiring. Look at this cute girl.
This obsession of his is over the top now.
There are no rehabs for like mob obsessions. The good thing is that he's sitting on a big pile of cash.
You gotta find out where this nutcase is keeping his money.
What are you gonna do about that?
Don, seriously? Be a man, Don.
Take your hands off!
Mind your own business.
What I say? What I say?
Come on, Don. We're waiting for you. Come on, what are you doing?
Be tough, Don.
What is doing? What? You heard me?
You better make it happen, Don.
Whoa.
For what? Let's go, Don. One of us now. Lots of pressure. Lots of responsibilities. Sure you could pull it off?
The family's involved in this. No, Joe! What's the matter? You don't want to betray your delusional boss?
Half this paper looks like a mental institution.
You're not a gangster, Al. You lost your mind. It's madness. Time it down, you mother.
Okay, now that looks really good. Now I have to say, my dear friend, he's like a brother to me, Jerry, my friend Jerry, saw this movie and he said he actually really liked it and your performance is amazing. Now, Jerry, you know his cousin James, the audio engineer from this movie? You know James Catapano? Yes. So that's how I got this because I'm very close. Jerry's like a brother to me, and his cousin James is you're friends with him, right?
Yeah, there's several people that worked on the sound, and Vinny's one of them.
Yes,
absolutely. And they were so helpful because we made the film for, a shoestring of a budget. We had the entire cooperation of Little Italy. They were just fantastic. I want to throw them a parade, let alone throw them, I know they throw a parade. They're just unbelievable how many people came to our support in the making of that film because we made it for nothing. And we had literally everyone in Little Italy contributed to the making of the film. And I believe the film is the only film ever to actually film the Sanzanao Parade in history. It's the first film that was ever allowed to film the Sanzanao Parade. So it was an amazing, just a lot of love when it. And it's about a very completely deluded guy whom you find out at the end of the movie.
Don't tell everybody. You don't want to tell them the ending, right?
Right. Yeah. You find out by the end of the movie he's not as deluded as you thought he was.
Oh, okay.
He's the character who definitely lives in his imagination.
Oh, wow. Well, like I said, Jerry said the movie he loved it and he loved your performance. He said your performance was very powerful.
Thank you.
So when is this movie coming out?
It's on, films right now, they have to find platforms like Amazon, Netflix, Prime, VOD, there's so many of them. And I think it is out on all the major platforms. So
it is? I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's streaming. All right.
You have to look for it, but it's there. It's called Don Q.
Don Q. Yeah, I'm going to watch that. What about, so now are you in season 3 of Gravesend?
Yeah, I'm still part of the show. It's that is kind of evolving, and I will say, in deference to Willie DeMeo, who's taken a tremendous role in terms of writing, producing, and directing. It's tremendous pressure he's put upon himself. But I will say this, he's put together an amazing company now of really wonderful actors. I think season 1 was very rough to get off.
Yes.
And he really believed very strongly in season 2, which went well. And now he's into season 3, and I think I rejoined the company in January. So, but
good, okay.
That how many really strong actors jumped on that show.
Okay, so now in 2, Fran Drescher played your sister, right?
Yeah, she's fun.
Yeah. How is she? She's a rep, huh?
She's an American national treasure.
Yeah.
It's funny.
She's funny. She's funny.
Yeah. But she's great.
And
great.
How was it?
They have now, my God, they have Fran Drescher, they have Talia Shire, they have
Talia Shire.
Dave Pastori, Charles Palmentieri. So many really well-known actors have joined that show, and it's we'll see where it goes. I think Willie doesn't have a network behind him, so
I know
it's very brave of him to believe that it could find a network, and I think that would be an amazing thing if it got picked up. But it's I will say, just to be in a company of actors like that is a beautiful experience.
That's nice. I see in this movie there's a lot of characters from Gravesend in this Don Q.
Yeah.
I saw Chuck Vito.
Yeah, there's a whole probably a whole niche of Italian American actors that I guess we all end up together.
Oh, that's so funny. And what was it like? What was it like working with Sylvester Stallone? You did Paradise Alley, right?
Yeah, I have the always the utmost respect for Sly, because he's a very disciplined guy and an incredibly creative writer, director, thinker. And he's always thought for himself very, very wisely. And I knew him I met him, I think, when I was 23 years old. And I think he knew then that he could be an icon, and he was. I mean, he turned into an icon. And I think he knew it at an early age, and he very much focused his career that way. And he was absolutely right. It was dead on. But everything I've seen that Sly worked on, he applies the maximum discipline, no matter what he's doing. I don't care if he's playing polo or he's playing golf or he's training for a film. He puts his all into everything he touches. And that's been the story of his success.
Wow. But you could say the same for you. You could say the same about you.
Thank you very much.
It sounded like you were describing yourself.
It's a matter of, honestly, it's really about stick-to-itiveness. You have to stick to it, and you can never give up, no matter how much you're told to give up. You just have to believe. I mean, for me, I thank God I love stories. So I've always been involved in stories, and I've always, with other actors, I read scripts, I write scripts, I write all the time for my own head. So, I mean, it is a constant discipline. And I think really engaged actors are in the discipline of storytelling all the time. You may not know it. You may not see it. It may not be on television or in the movies. But 99% of the time, actors are constantly working. In a way, you can't grow. You can't expand, and you can't connect. You can't engage if you're not working all the time. And that's really the journey of an actor. It's the role of constant connection. Acting is basically connecting. It's engaging. It's evoking and involving people. And I think if you're not in that constant loop and I know many, many actors who are incredibly frustrated. It's painful, and rightfully so. because a lot of them do not have a group, or they can't put together a group of actors who will work out, study a script, read a play, read a script, just read it for the hell of it. Get together and engage in the work itself. And I think it's heartbreaking because a lot of actors it's a very lonely profession because you're putting yourself on the line constantly. But I think the people in the profession that work all the time. If you take one day off, it's dangerous.
Wow,
One day off,
really?
then you start thinking. You can't think. You got to do.
Oh, wow.
You can't think about this, so you have to do it. You have to engage in it constantly. And the rewards are astonishing. The human rewards of connecting with actors to create stories is indelible, and that you see it often at an award show, and you say, why is this actor going on and on and on about all these other people? And it's a fact. When you create something like that, it's like creating a piece of music. All the people that worked on it with you. You know, even down to the guy that put the plug in the wall, he was with you when you made that project. So, I mean, it's a very powerful experience, and that's exactly why actors have these speeches. They want to thank everybody because everybody is.
Okay.
It's a fact.
Oh, wow. I never even thought of that. You know, I never thought of that. Armand, what would you say what role are you most recognized wherever you go? What's the role that people come up to you about?
Well, without question, Gotti is the.
Is that the number one?
I would say that's number one. Number two, certainly, Mambo Kings. That's another. It's interesting that Mambo Kings was not that well distributed at all, but it kind of backfired because another film went completely global, like within minutes. It was crazy how that went around the world. And the thing is that I can't tell you the experiences I had from that film. I was in Kazakhstan once. I did a documentary on Kazakhstan of my own, and I was sitting next to a general, a Kazakh general, at a dinner. And he turned to me, and it dawned on him, and he said in broken English that you were in the Mambo Kings. And I said, yeah, but that was in the film. He started to cry. He said, that's the story of my brother and I.
Oh,
and
my God.
Touched him so deeply. And I was so blown away by that. You think, you never know if you connect. You know, a film is a weird thing because you never really know if you connect to people.
Yes,
if you're not connected. It's just out there. But that was one moment, I never forgot that moment as long as I lived. That here's this general, military guy, turns to me and just breaks down.
Oh my God.
That was my brother and I. So films do connect. Films have a wild way of connecting.
And now,
the other one I did is, believe it or not, it was a remake of a very brilliant book, On the Beach, which is the very topical film today about nuclear war. But I get a lot of people that like that film. But you know, I've been working since I was a kid, either in music and theater and film. It's been I've had an incredible journey in my life. And I've spent probably a good 20 years out of the country. I've worked all over the world. I mean, everywhere. China, Russia, Ukraine, you name it, I worked it. So I mean, it's been an incredible journey for me as an actor to have worked in so many different environments with so many different people. So I feel very blessed.
I heard that when Antonio Banderas did that movie, he didn't understand a word of English. Is that true?
Yeah, he was just beginning to learn English when we made the film, and he actually did the film phonetically. he learned the language phonetically for the film, but he was still learning English while we worked on it.
Oh, wow.
And I remember when I met him, I brought him up here and I took him horseback riding, and we had the funniest, craziest day. Oh, I remember us galloping through the mud, coming back just drenched in mud, and I thought, oh my God, what did I do to this poor kid? He's gonna hate me. He's gonna hate me. And I was trying to make my way through broken Spanish. I can make my way through broken Italian. But I kept thinking, what did I do to this poor kid? We came back looking like boogeymen. It was really bad. But it was I had an amazing time with him. Great chemistry.
Oh, see, that I like to hear that, because I like him too. I like him,
Yeah.
Antonio Banderas.
brilliant-
I love
brilliant.
that movie.
Yeah, he's a brilliant performer. It was,
I love that
was
movie.
just one of those rare experiences. We got a team of people that were just, these are some of the most, they were the most important Latin musicians in history, for real.
Right.
Going back to Mario Bauza, who was the founder of Latin American Afro-Cuban jazz. I mean, these are the people that really created what's called Afro-Cuban Latin jazz. I mean, it's just an astonishing melting pot of people that were involved in that film. Even the dancers, some of them were the original, who created some of the original dances, worked on that film. So very, very powerful experience. Again, like once in a lifetime. Very powerful.
Wow. Yes. Oh, wow. Unbelievable. I don't know how, we didn't discuss how long you wanted to stay or not, and I don't want to keep you. I know you're very, very busy.
I'm good.
Oh, you are? You're good?
I'm so grateful for you to do this, and thank you so much, because I really hope that people will show up tomorrow night in Cranberry, New Jersey.
Yeah,
Because
well, I put it
I
on
think
my...
they'll get a kick out of seeing it in the theater.
Yeah,
It'll be
well,
it's
yes.
a very different experience.
I put it on my Instagram. I put it on my Twitter. Tonight I'm going to talk about it. So hopefully a lot of people show up. I hope a lot of people show up.
Thank you so much. But
If
this
I
is
would've-
really, really good of you to do this.
Oh, no. It's really good of you to do this.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so
But anyway,
much.
I hope I see you soon.
Yes, me too. I hopefully, this Gotti 2 can get going. You and my brother have some things going on right now.
It would be amazing. But anyway,
Yes.
listen, God bless you. And I'll see you
Oh,
real soon.
God bless you, Armand. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
HBO Home Video presents a true life story, the epic saga of the rise and fall of a real-life mafia don.
How long we been around this thing of ours? This goes on Nostrum.
In a film packed with grand performances, Armand Assante is Gotti.
However, Amelia, and the rules that hold us together.
John Gotti's story began on the streets of Queens, New York. A young man who earned the respect
I see a future for you.
and the fear of his elders.
It was my call. He would go.
A street tough who made the cold, hard climb through the ranks of the Gambino crime family.
They thought I wanted to see it.
A man who would stop at nothing to make it to the top.
We're gonna do it now. We're gonna do real hit. Right?
This is the story of John Gotti.
Whoever I'm at, it's because I am who I am, all right? I'm not gonna change who I am. I'm not gonna apologize for it. And you'll wind up in a cell because you are who you are.
But life at the top is fleeting in an empire built on murder, greed, and betrayal.
So what kind of information you have to offer?
I give you the whole Cosa Nostra.
He's sitting on top of a $500 million a year criminal enterprise. I want this guy.
You break the rules and this whole thing of ours. Facts and rules.
And in the end, there's no one to trust but yourself.
Gone. Did it? Of course, we're perfect. Safe? There is no safe.
This is the true life story of John Gotti.
10 years from now, they're gonna miss John Gotti.
Gotti, available only from HBO Home Video.